Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. We're here to talk all about a new system, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. Before that, it's time for introductions. My name is Steve, and of course, I'm joined by Barry and Greg. Barry, how you doing, man?
Hey, it's great to be back. Exciting stuff to talk about, and yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, Greg, you excited for the Switch 2?
Yeah, totally excited for the Switch 2, and sorry about that technical difficulty.
There
Oh,
was
you're
no
good.
technical difficulty. It was that really good hologram I was talking about. We finally figured out the speech technology on it.
That's right. That's right. And honestly, like if you didn't mention it, nobody would know after the fact because I'm gonna edit it all out. So.
Ah,
So yeah, we're here to talk all about this new system. The Switch 2 has been officially announced, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the episode. But before we do that, we just want to thank you guys so much for jumping on this episode, especially those that are jumping in the live chat. We see you guys there. Be sure to say hi if you're joining us live. We go live every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and we'd love for you guys to join us because, as we've said many times, you guys are the fourth member collectively of this podcast, and so we'd love for you guys to jump in and just join in the conversation. Also, another way to join in the conversation is our social media and our Discord. So if you've not joined either of those, follow us at NintendoFuse or join our Discord. That link is going to be on the video version of this episode, which is available on YouTube. If you're listening and you want to know, hey, can we actually watch you guys? You can over on YouTube where we stream, as well as Twitch, or you can join that Discord by following the link in the podcast show notes or also the YouTube description. We'd love for you guys to join us over there. So yeah, Polar Knights is joining us in there. Jakester's saying hi as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us and saying hi. We're going to jump in as usual here at the beginning of what we've been playing. So if you're joining us in the chat, we'd also love for you to share what you've been playing as well. So, Greg, how about you kick us off?
All right, so this will probably be a little bit shorter because the bulk of these are for some upcoming game chats that will probably be on our YouTube page here in the near future, which includes Dungeon 4, along with Salmon Max, Beyond Space and Time, and Super Spy Raccoon, but ones that have not, or at least the ones that we already released. I was also playing some more of Blade Chimera. I was just trying to do more of a full 100% of the game from our great game chats that we had. So I pretty much got just about everything that I could find to be found outside of like a few missing demons in the index, along with the true ending, I guess, is after the very end of the game where you find all 56 puzzle pieces and then make a challenge for the true boss. So I wasn't able to take that one down because it's very, very difficult and probably beyond my skill level and the time that I want to dedicate to trying to do that. I did revisit the Salmon Max, the first one, to save the world, because I felt like I wanted more story context just to have all that clear for the secondary one. So I did go back and use like the guide just to kind of warp, like pretty much zip through most of it and not have to do a lot of the puzzle solving because a lot of that stuff is super obscure and not very easy to do, and it's not exactly the most fun experience trying to discover that stuff either. I wish there was like a easier like mode where like a more just give me the story. And I don't really need to do all these like puzzle elements kind of thing like they do in some more modern games where they like, you just enjoy the story more than actually just doing all the different puzzles. But it's one additional critique that I found after going back through that game. And then pretty much on the mobile side, still doing some of the Roblox games with my daughter, along with Disney Pixel RPG. And then the long-winded time where Simpsons taps out is now no longer on this planet anymore. The servers were unplugged on Friday, January 26th, right at 5 p.m. my local time. And then pretty much it basically blocked it. I was trying to do what the crafty Nintendo fans did and was like, let's stay on the 3DS Mario Kart 7 as long as I can. And then before it kicks you off. But it was not the case with this one. It just was like, whoop, it's 5 o'clock, boom, servers power down, power shut off, or can't connect. so I got booted out right away. But
Wow.
I took some videos of my town for memory purposes and other like screenshots and whatnot. But I guess it was a great 13, 14-year run the game had. So it was like it was released back in 2011, I think, on it originally exclusive iOS devices, and then Android came within like a year or so. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I've been playing.
I didn't hop back on there. I thought about it, especially when I saw you doing it the last day. I was like, should I? And then I was like, I've got other things I need to be doing. So I didn't end up jumping on there. So, however, my Springfield was back in the day is how it died, I guess. And I don't know if I had any donuts left over. I don't think I ever spent money in the game, so I don't have to worry about that. But I know other people who spent lots and lots of money, and I think that's some of those sad things that when that stuff happens is the money you've spent over time, it's gone. Like, I mean, you had fun at the time, but you have nothing to lasting, impression of it or whatever. So
I
it's
did
too bad.
hear there's like some legislation going on like in the EU where they're trying to like stop games like this from going offline because it's exactly as you said, you spend all this money and time on the game and then it shouldn't just disappear just at a moment's notice and you basically have nothing to show what you paid for it. So
Yeah,
or like enjoying the content that you rightfully paid for.
yeah.
Well, that's why I like when Nintendo did like Animal Crossing Complete, where here it is, you pay and it's just there. And I wish they did that with Dr. Mario and Dragalia Lost and all this stuff. Like, I understand games aren't going to keep going forever. Like, you're not making enough to justify it. That's fine. Mario Kart Tour, for example, there hasn't been new content in over a year, and I'll tell you what, they're still running through the stuff. I mean, it was sad this year not having a 2025 glider because there's been one every year, but the tours still go on. People are still racing. It's still a lot of fun to compete, and that's great. But if they say, guess what, we're going to take off the game and no one can ever play it again, that's a shame because there's a lot of content that's still exclusive to Tour that will no longer be playable. And the same with Simpsons Tapped Out or any other game like that.
Mhm. That's true. Yeah, and speaking of Blade Chimera, Greg, you've finished it up and everything. That video, our game chat's doing pretty well on our site. So if you haven't checked out our game chat about Blade Chimera, be sure to check that out as well. Barry, what have you been playing?
So I've been playing a couple things. First off, on Switch, Pokemon Unite and Star Wars Hunters. I'm still playing those. Star Wars Hunters actually started a brand new season today, and they actually have a really interesting cross tie-in with Skeleton Crew, where they've got like outfits inspired by Skeleton Crew and like stickers from characters from Skeleton Crew. So I'm
Hmm.
happy to see more cross promotion happening. I think that's smart. Then I did a little F-Zero 99, still trying to unlock all the tracks, but doing it periodically. Like Greg alluded to, a bunch of game chat games. I got Achilles Legends Untold, 8-Bit Adventures 2, Freddy Farmer, Bright Lights of Svetlov. We'll all be doing game chats on here soon, so stay tuned for that. And then, as Greg alluded to, with Blade Chimera, I was done with the game. I had beat it for a game chat, but I had 55 of 56 of the puzzle pieces. And Greg told me that, hey, are you aware that it tells you on the map if you've completed? And I'm like, oh no, I did not. So sure enough, I was able to find that last one, get the little bit of story content, and like Greg alluded to, that final boss really really tough. I couldn't beat it either. But I'm happy that I was able to go back and do that. What a great game! But do check out our game chat. Speaking of going back afterwards, I went back to Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown again, just because I had those maps. I wanted to get 100%. So I went and got everything except for the final two areas or final two coins. They're just coins just for upgrades, but I don't need anymore. But they were the ones that I gave up on. I'm like, oh, let me try again. And I started in that area. I'm like, yeah, this area is total BS. F that. So those two will remain ungotten, but I got everything else, including the DLC map, because you can get when you beat the DLC, you get a map that shows you and like, oh, there's a few little things I missed in the DLC map. So, what a great game! So I went back and did that. Last time I talked about how I did Blossom Tales. Well, this time I did Blossom Tales 2, The Minotaur Prince. Another fantastic Zelda-like game. So if you really like Zelda, check out these games. They're not long. I mean, I think each of them is like 10 hours. Like they're really not long. They're good size experiences. Played a game called Dice Falk, which is a roguelike RPG that involves dice. And it's really interesting where you roll for your side and your opponent's side, and you choose which actions happen, but the enemy has to take their action. So when you roll for the enemy and they have an attack, they have to take an attack. And you have to choose when they attack, who they attack, but it has to happen. So by you playing both sides, you can really use, like, if you roll the guard for yourself, you can be like, all right, I'm going to put the guard up and then I'm going to use that attack so my guard blocks it. So there's quite a lot of strategy. Really interesting. My only biggest gripe with it is the fact that it is a roguelike, which means when you die, you get bonuses and you have to start your run again. But really, really cool. I love the RPG, and it was such a unique, fresh take on RPG mechanics. It was really cool. NSO, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but I played some Super Hakun on the Super Nintendo, which is a Satellaview game that was made by Nintendo. You know, and that's it. It's been lost, so it's back on. That's all Japanese, of course, but really interesting puzzle game. You're like this little kiwi, and you've like almost like a mosquito kiwi, and you like suck up like blocks, and you put blocks where you want, and then you get different color liquids, like red liquids, and you put that in the block, and the block will go vertical, and a blue liquid, and the block will go horizontal. And really interesting, very simplistic, but it has that little bit of a Nintendo charm.
Hmm.
Then on the PS4, I played Infamous First Light. It was the only Infamous game I never played, and I was like, all right, you know what? I want to go through that. It's a shorter experience and makes me want another Infamous game. Boy, I tell you that they dropped the ball on that one.
Hmm.
And then the PS5 played some Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. But right now I'm kind of getting a little bored because I'm just going through the story mode right now, which is the same story I've seen a billion times in every game in the anime. On the PC side, still doing 14, and on the mobile side, still doing Mario Kart Tour, the New York Times games, and Pokemon TCG Pocket, which has the new card set dropping tomorrow. So big excitement there.
It is, yeah. Go into the chat real quick. Polar Knights on Twitch saying it's been a few weird days, but trying to sell his Tesla, but no one wants to buy a car by a crazy person. That's funny. And then Jakester has been playing Super Mario Advance 4. Pretty fun to play. Mario 3 for the first time, which is just crazy that Jakester has not played Mario 3, but glad you're experiencing it now. And then finished unlocking all of the monsters in Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher and started playing Dokapon Kingdom as well. And yeah, I think he was talking about earlier the how the paid games that go away just kind of dies in the long term. So I have been playing. I finally went back and did what I've said I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I started chipping away at that back catalog that has not been touched in a while. Some of these games that we are going to be doing game chats on really soon, so you hear more about that. But Vampire Survivors is one of those games, as well as the DLC, the Contra DLC, as well as the what was the other one? Shoot.
Castlevania DLC.
Castlevania DLC as well. So played those games and played a lot more than I expected to. We'll just say that. I'll let you wait till the to the game chat to find out more. But I sank several hours into that game. And then also played Dungeons 4, which we are going to be doing a game chat on really soon. Well overdue. And that's a game that I had no idea what I was getting into when I opened it. I was like, what in the world is this? I kind of got into it, but there's still some different nuances that I'm not sure about. But I had some fun with it. It wasn't a horrible experience or anything like that. But again, that's just a little tease for our game chat that's going to be coming out soon. Also hopped over on we got codes for the Steam version of the Snuff Gun Melody of Moomin Valley DLC for Fuddler's Courtship. Haven't got the Switch codes yet, but hopped over and played that on Steam. And the good thing is that because I'd beaten the game on Switch, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to play the DLC immediately on Steam, and I can. It just says like a little box that says, "Hey, like if you haven't played the full game, we recommend you play that first, but you can go right past it and keep going." So it's a fun little quirky quest. It won't take you long at all, maybe an hour or so. And the only unfortunate thing is there's one thing you have to do. There's several things like the original game where you're collecting a lot of things as you go around and stuff like that. And it does actually tell you when you've reached enough this time, which is kind of cool. And then one of the things you have to do is collect buttons. And I think there's a little bug or something's going on because I think I maybe have maybe missed a button early on, but after it turns like, do you reach a certain point in the quest and it turns from day to nighttime or something like that? That button is no longer there. Like I searched around everywhere where the buttons should be, and I am one short and I cannot find it anywhere. I've walked around and around and around and around the area. It does limit you to a smaller area this time. And Barry, it also takes place in that area where you were wondering, hey, is anything going to happen here? That's where this takes
all the way
place.
on the right side where it's
Yep.
just like super quick, and it's
Yep.
like this sucks because it's like nothing's
Yep,
there.
that's where you end up going for this one, but you can't go anywhere else. You're just in that spot. So I walked around and around and around and could not find that additional button. So I don't know what happens when you find them all. He may just say, "Hey, thank you," and that's it. But officially, I'm not 100% on it because I can't find the last one. Also played some Rocket League, of course, Clash Royale, and Barry has gotten me hooked on Pokemon, the card game, mobile. So I've been playing a lot of that, trying to check in multiple times a day and getting my picks and my cards and trying to collect as much as I can, but also try to play online. And I'm Barry, say good for you to know that I am no longer just hitting autoplay anymore. I'm
Oh, you
actually
learned.
playing. Yeah.
It's fun
Well,
though.
it is. It is fun, and really didn't take me long to learn it at all. Like I let it autoplay for a while, and then I got to a point where I was like, I can't progress anymore, like unless I actually learn how to play myself, because the stupid computer is not helping at all.
Yeah, they make so many bad decisions, and they don't
Yeah.
like to use Sabrina either.
No, no. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. And then a fun side thing is there was a retro toy fair in town this last Saturday, and it was like it was snowing like quite a bit all day, and I was like, you know what, I'm still gonna go. So I braved the snow and went out, and it was fun. It was at our fairgrounds and walked around, and they had some video game stuff there. It was fun. I was like as I've talked about on previous episodes, like my original NES is still lost somewhere. Hopefully, still at my parents' house. I hope it's out in their garage somewhere. We still have not found it. So I was like looking around. I was like, okay, should I buy an NES here? And they were incredibly expensive. They were still in the box. Like some of them were sealed. I was like, okay, I can't spend that much money on an NES. It's not even going to be played. It's going to be sitting in my shelf or something like that. And so I decided not to, but they had some games there. And so I went ahead and I remembered, hey, you know what? I don't know what happened to my copy of Mario Kart 64 over the years. So I went ahead and bought myself a copy of Mario Kart 64. So now I have that. And then I got home and I was putting it with my small 64 collection, and realized that apparently I also do not have Super Mario Kart. I was like, man, I should have bought both of them. I was just there.
Aw.
I saw it several times and I didn't realize I need both of them. So apparently, I don't know if I never owned it or what, but yeah, I need both of them. So I was kind of bummed. I was excited that I got 64, and I was bummed at the same time. I was like, I should have also picked up a copy of Super Mario Kart, but oh well. But I still had a lot of fun, and that it was a blast to get out to Retromania. So that's fun.
Speaking
High
of
water.
you,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, speaking of retro games picked up, I think over the last 2 weeks I did go to the local disc replay, and I picked up a copy of Blast Corps 64 because that was one I've never played and never
Oh,
owned.
good
So
game.
that was it. I've heard lots of great things about it, so I got that one, and then another likewise one on the NES. I got Blaster Master. So
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I've heard those two are some better games on both the NES and the N64. So I was trying to check those out and add those to my collection.
That's cool. Do you still have a tube TV to play it on?
Nope. I use my I mean, my cousin was over here and we were playing like Super Dodgeball on my normal like high def whatever 4K TV, and the NES plays just fine. I didn't
It
really
looks okay.
notice major like input lag or anything, but
Okay,
he says he did, but I it didn't really seem to make a difference for me.
that's
Like I
good.
was still playing we were playing Double Dragon and I was still doing like the different like the cyclone kicks and everything just fine. So
Nice. Nice. Yeah, there was also someone was selling 3 of the Atari 2600s, but they had like the original version with the 4 switches, and then they had the 6 switch one, and then they also had the Sears
With the
one,
Vader.
and like they were selling all 3 of them for $125. And I was like, "Oh, I
That's not
really
a
want to
bad
get
price
it,"
for all
but
three.
he didn't know if they worked. Like, and he had no way of telling if they worked because he didn't have a tube
Was
TV
was
or
that
anything to hook it up
125
to.
each or 125 for all
Total,
three? Oh,
total.
yeah, that's not a bad price at
No,
all.
not at all. But I was like, nor do I have a tube TV to hook these things up to check and see if they work. And at the same time, I keep going back and forth. I'm like, while it'd be really cool to own a 2600, do I really need it? Growing up sucks sometimes in maturity, and I wonder, do I really need it? Because I've got so many like of the Atari games that I can play on Atari 50 or the other collections that I've got, and I can just boot that up anytime I want. Is it really something you need, Steve? And so I decided no. I walked away.
Can you play Custer's Revenge, though, on any
Do
of
I
those other
want to?
collections? You should always want to.
Yeah, Jake's just saying that's a good deal for all 3. Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
Like, I was incredibly tempted, and I had to. What I had to do is like, I recommend this to a lot of people. If you go there and you're like, this is interesting to me. I'm on the verge of buying it. Take a lap, and if you still feel that strongly, then you can. But by the time I took a lap, I didn't really want to play anymore. I didn't want to have it anymore. So I decided no. Hi Wada, also joining us in the chat over on Twitch, says still mostly been playing Pokemon Unite and Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed as well. Cool. Well, that's what we've been playing, and we'd love to hear what you've been playing as well. But for now, we are going to be jumping into our news headlines, and Greg's going to kick us off with the first one.
All right, so coming on March 19th will be the 2025 Game Developers Choice Awards. So they released the nominees that they'll be covering, have a chance to win some awards from this upcoming award show that honors the different developers that have released some indie games throughout 2024. So like there's a few instances of ones that are on like the Switch console, like Animal Well being nominated for several categories, and those categories would include like best audio, best debut, best design, the innovation award, the best narrative, best technology, best visual art, social impact, and game of the year. So again, that's going to be on March 19th on their official Twitch channel, where you can stream the results and find out which developers take home these various awards.
And speaking of great games, NSO finally gets another update. And it's the ones we've all been waiting for. No, it's not. It's Super Nintendo's getting 3 games, or has 3 games already out. And they guarantee you they're not the ones the majority of people have been asking for. Fatal Fury 2. So I guess there's a Terry Bogard representation on NSO. Super Ninja Boy, and then, as I alluded to earlier, from Japan, from the Satellaview, Sate Hakun, which again was a Nintendo-made game for the Satellaview that couldn't normally play, but now you can.
And the Nintendo Music app just keeps getting more and more music. As of through the January, we are still getting them basically every Monday. So as of recording, this is January 28th, and we've got 2 updates since the last episode. On January 20th, we got Super Mario Kart music, and on January 27th, just yesterday, we got Pokemon Legends Arceus. All have been added to the Nintendo Music app on your iPhone and Android.
So, in case you're in the market for some new games purchased digitally on Nintendo Switch, there's a supercharge sale going on now all the way through February 9th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time. You can get games like New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. You can get Just Dance 2025. You can get like the Ace Attorney collection, like Red Dead Redemption, even like another code, all at different price points between like 13% off all the way up to like 33% off or so, or maybe even some more higher than that as well. So it just varies per title as Steve has them scrolling on the screen.
Nice. Yeah, lots of deals over there for sure. Barry, what do you think of these headlines?
Yeah, so for the Game Developers Choice Awards, it's always good to see more devs get recognition. So we'll see what happens in March. As for the NSO updates, well, I wasn't initially, like overjoyed, but Sute Hakun, like I said, I didn't know about it, and it's always cool to discover. It's like, hey, it's a brand new Nintendo game that you missed that you didn't get the chance to play. My only wish is that they would take just a little time to translate these games. There's not a lot of text. It's mainly menus. You just translate the text. Like I'm sure they could find somebody that would be like, "Hey, I'll do it for free, whatever, or for a nickel, just to be able to get a credit or something." I think that would be really cool because like they did the Starfy games, and I tried playing that, and the platforming was fun, but there's a lot of dialogue, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. So giving us the games is great. Let us actually be able to understand them. Nintendo Music getting updated, that's always a fun thing. Hopefully, they keep doing this and they don't dip off. And the Supercharge sale is fun. I actually took advantage of it because Nintendo rarely puts some of their games on sale. And while I don't buy a lot digital, there's some Nintendo games that are only digital. And after years of waiting, it's like, okay, well, this is still not coming out physical. I'm gonna get it. So I think Part-Time UFO was on sale and Stretchers was on sale and Box Boy and Box Girl was on sale. I think it was like 30% off. And I'm like, Nintendo games rarely go on sale. I don't know if they'll ever go more than that. So I'm just going to take the opportunity and grab them now.
Nice. Yeah, Jakester saying that he could finally get Clubhouse games, and yeah, the Switch
Yeah,
version is on sale for 30% off. So normally $40, but it's on sale for 28 in America. So that's exciting. And you could also get the Layton's Mystery Journey if you want, as you wait for the next Layton game. It's also 40% off. I haven't played that one, but
I did. That wasn't bad.
I wasn't okay.
That's with his like granddaughter or his daughter or
Granddaughter or
whatever.
something like that. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it was. I know some people missed Leighton, and I get that, but the puzzles are still great. So play for the puzzles if nothing else. But I enjoyed the
sure,
story too.
cool. Greg, anything stand out?
Yeah, I was looking through some of the sales. I don't know if there's any individual games that I'm in immediate market for, but I mean, I do see a Disney Illusion Islands on there, and that was a fantastic game. I absolutely loved that one, and definitely would recommend for anyone that didn't play it, hasn't played it yet. Um, Yeah, then there's a number of ones I've already picked up. Looks like already on there, but at least I've gotten them at the sale price as well too. Like even like Sea of Stars, I got it when I was on a previous sale, and some other ones like that, like the Ace Attorney collection, and even like the Grand Theft Auto collections. Like I've gotten those like when they've also been discounted on previous sales. So those are all great pickups for anyone else too that's looking for some new ones. Obviously, enjoy the music app quite a lot. I pretty much use that nearly every single time I'm in the car. Basically, no longer need to listen to any other type of service for my music in the car. Haven't really had a chance to really
Great. I'm
go
gonna
through.
interrupt you real quick. Have you
Oh,
listened to Mario Kart while you're driving in the car? I did the other day.
Oh God.
not the
It-
not the NES one. I've done the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but
okay.
yeah,
Did it give you an
it does
urge
feel
to
like
like throw turtle shells at people or something like that?
Yep, I pretty much was getting those urges even after just like playing the game and then going like, into the car. Like, hey, let's get this guy out of the way. I think he's in first place. Here's my blue shell. Like
Wait, you mean you guys only got the urge? You didn't actually do it? My
I didn't.
insurance company is not very happy with me because of that.
People in front of me must have went ahead and grabbed the question blocks before I got there.
it was probably Barry who grabbed them all, you know?
Yeah, somehow across
Yeah.
the country, I grabbed them.
We know your shortcut tricks.
That's his Mario Kart Tour.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
The Denver Cup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't really listened to too many the ones at least from these last two updates, but still really great to see. And then I'm still wondering if they're still gonna like add to like ones that have already been added, because I think I talked about last time how Super Mario 64 is still missing some tracks, like notably like the metal cap, and I even think it's like the wing cap like doesn't have either of those two soundtracks, and I'm sure there's probably a number of other ones missing, but I don't know off the top of my head. But I'm really hoping that they'll like still add extra songs into the previous games that they've already done as well too, just to kind of
That
round
would
that
be
out.
part of the Nintendo's Music DLC expansion pack. You want Mario? You gotta pay for it.
Well, I already got the expansion pack already, so unless they make like the expansion pack plus or like super expansion pack
You don't
plus
have
or
the
whatever.
music expansion pack
It'd
though.
be Nintendo Music Plus. It's gonna happen. Yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously it's always great to see more NSO game updates. I don't know if I'll get around to trying out either of those three, but still definitely appreciate it. There's still getting support and new games added. And then, as Liquid Berry said, it's gotta be a great honor to be recognized for the game award, like the Game Developers Choice Award stuff. So, I had really enjoyed Animal Well. So I really hope that one wins a few more titles for this award show as well too.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Hiawatha says that I finally bought Double Dragon Neon. Been growing my collection of Double Dragon games. That's cool. I can't remember if I played Neon or not. I remember getting excited about it, but I don't know if I actually played it or not.
I feel like a lot of us get excited for a game because it's a series we love, and then we just don't have
Yeah.
the time to
Yeah.
actually play it.
It's so true. Like, there's probably a lot of games that fall in that category. And some of them make their way to my Switch, and others just sit in my wish list on Nintendo, and maybe eventually I'll get it, and they just keep telling me when it's on sale. But that's about it. Yeah, I'm excited about NSO. NSO is gonna become this thing that like it's cool to have these games on there. Some of them I've never played. Excited to play Fatal Fury 2 again sometime. It's been so long since I played it, but I'm not in a rush to go, jump on it. But it's cool that those games are there. Um, Nintendo Music app, I already kind of talked about that. It's been fun. I don't listen to it very much, but yeah, the other day I was like, you know what? I want to see what it feels like to listen to Mario Kart in the car. And then yeah, I looking through some of the Switch sale games. It's kind of cool, and I didn't realize until you mentioned it, Barry, that like Box Boy, Box Boy and Box
Double.
Girl was on there. Um,
Yeah.
and
That
so
Stretchers and Part-Time UFO are all Nintendo digitally published games that don't have a physical
cool.
that are on there on sale.
Nice. So
I
yeah, I
I have no
may
idea
end
that
up
even
checking that or not.
yeah, I didn't even know that they released that on Switch. I played them on 3DS and loved the
Yeah,
heck out of them. I didn't know that they actually ported them over to Switch.
it was a brand new game. They didn't. The old ones are still stuck on the 3DS, and if you didn't download them, they're gone. But the Switch got a new game, Box Boy and Girl, a couple years ago, and it's on sale, 30% off right now.
Mm-hmm. So is Tetris Forever is also on sale, and I kind of forgot to. Speaking of games that we were excited about that I kind of forgot, Tetris Forever is one of them, and so yeah, it's at 20% off, so it's sitting at $28 instead of 35. So I might end up getting that one finally as well. And now that we definitely know that the next Switch is backward compatible, I'm like, this is gonna be great. So I can still play all these games and not have to worry about losing them, like on the Wii U and everything before that, when I downloaded games. So yeah, pretty exciting. Anything else that I missed in the chat? Doesn't look like it. So yeah, let us know what you guys think about all these headlines of news. And you may have noticed, like over the last few episodes, like we typically have like 6, 7, 8 sometimes headlines. And this time we only had just a handful. I think because there was something that dominated the news over the last couple weeks, and what it was a brand new console. So Nintendo Switch 2 is officially here. We don't have to speculate anymore. It is officially here, and yeah, you can actually watch the entire trailer. We've got a quick breakdown on our YouTube channel that I popped out the day that it released. But we know that it is bigger than the current Nintendo Switch, and we know that there's some extra buttons and things like that that you know. But that's all we know really from this trailer. There's been a lot of rumors out there, and all three of us are trying to stay away from those rumors as best as we can. So, so just a heads up, like, don't just willy nilly throw those things in the chat room right now because we're trying to stay away from those. We want to talk about the things that are confirmed or the things that we've seen in the trailers and things like that that we've been able to pick up on. So just a quick rundown of the things that I noticed in our quick breakdown of the original trailer. It doesn't look like it has analog trigger buttons. That was one of the things that I was really hoping for, but it looks like it has the same kind of trigger buttons that we have currently on the Switch. And then also it has an extra button on the right Joy-Con that we don't really know what that is right now. Some people are calling it a C button, but it's blank. It's a blank button. It's a blank square button that we have no idea what it is right now. They also added a second USB port for top of the system. We don't really know what that actually looks like yet, like in terms of like how it's going to be used or anything like that. We just know there's one on the top and the bottom. And then at first glance, it seems like there were like these separate chargers for each Joy-Con is what I thought. But then I looked at the trailer a lot more, and we can tell that those are the wrist strap attachments. And everything, speaking of the wrist strap attachments, the Joy-Cons seem to attach magnetically to the sides of the Switch console, and also the Joy-Con controller. And then the wrist strap attachments that seems to all be magnetic, but also have some places where they plug in as well. So it's not just magnetic; there's also a connection there as well. So we have no idea, of course, how that lives up over time, but I would imagine that Nintendo has been testing like this like crazy. Also, the screen is bigger, but it's still not filling the entire space. It kind of has this illusion similar to the current Switch and the OLED Switch that it is almost borderless or bezel-less, but it's not. But it is a lot larger screen. Joy-Cons have both shoulder and trigger buttons now, it seems like, on them on their own. So those buttons are both there where you can reach them, as well as possibly other buttons on there. We're not really sure what those are all about. And then the kickstand allows for the system to almost lay flat. It rolls out like the entire width of the system. So that's kind of cool. Similar to the OLED system, but it also lays almost flat. If you would like to do that with your Switch 2. And then the home button on the right side of the Joy-Con does not have a ring around it this time, contrary to the current Switch. Not really sure what that means, but it just doesn't have one. And then we couldn't tell if there was anything significantly different from the dock. We've speculated a lot if the dock is going to add additional power or 4K ability or whatever, but there's no indication that there's anything significantly different from just the images and the video that we've gotten so far. And then finally, we saw a new game that we're going to get into a little bit, Mario Kart game that they showed off. So I talked a lot through the details of what stood out to me. Greg, any of those details stand out to you, or anything else that you caught when you were watching the video?
Yeah, I did catch quite a number of those, and it really took a while for me to even see like the wrist strap thing was actually a separate attachment because it's like they put it in at like warp speed during the actual trailer, and it took like some like other channels to like kind of break it down and actually playing it back at like whatever quarter speed, and then you actually could see it's actually like the similar to like that little thing that slid onto the older Joy-Con. So that was kind of cool to actually see like a little better close up of that. And then, like you said, there are additional buttons on there, which is great for to make it a little bit more compatible with some of the other games if you're just using the one Joy-Con as opposed to like both of them or like a Pro controller if that's even going to be a thing upcoming. But it's great to have like those buttons there, so that it makes it more compatible with. I'm sure with various different games there too. I did really like that the kickstand kind of goes down a lot further. I mean, I don't really play like in tabletop mode a lot to begin with, but that's still a great thing to have. So I'm sure that could be needed at certain points, especially like with like the previous Mario Party games, kind of utilizing that kind of like moving the consoles like closer together for specific maps. So I don't know if that's gonna play a role there to at least be able to have them like propped up at a particular angle to make it easier to play too. So I do like the changed kickstand quite a lot for that potential there. Um, let's see, but yeah, like it's really great to see that they made some of those like the quality of life improvements, just like even if it's just removing like the little ring around the button. I mean, I think it was supposed to be a light on the original Switch, but I don't think it's ever really been like illuminated, or unless it's like a very rare instance. But um, I don't think it was really used, so that's maybe why that was probably removed there. Um, it's still kind of sad to not see an actual D-pad on the one left
Mm.
Joy-Con, but I guess that's just a trend that they'll be going with going forward. I mean, obviously, it makes it an easier controller if there are four buttons that have like the same layout for the A, B, X, and Y, but still kind of a thing to note there. But yeah, I do like the new color combination as well too, because it's a lot more just like a little, like highlight around the two different joysticks, along with like the actual magnetic part of the Switch that connects to the console. There's even like the little like color part like on the inside of the actual console itself too. So that'd be kind of interesting to see if like there'll be different colored Joy Cons and how that would necessarily look if you're connecting like to the red port kind of thing. But I understand it's for the set that it's coming with, but I'm sure there's going to be the day down the road where they have different colored Joy Cons. Will probably be like a left red one and a right blue one, kind of like how those immediately came out for the current Switch model. So um, I know that's not going to make Huston happy there either if he's listening too, because he likes to collect all the Joy Cons. And yeah, I guess we'll have to see if there'll be different models with color combinations and all that kind of fun stuff too. But yeah, I can let Barry dive into some stuff that he's noticed at least.
Yeah, for me, I mean, the the biggest takeaway is this is kind of exactly what I wanted. Because and I think it stems from just being a Nintendo fan my whole life and seeing what happened during the PlayStation and N64 era where so many games went to PlayStation that weren't on N64. And if they were on N64, they were usually, the lesser version that was missing FMVs and music and everything. And the GameCube was like, oh my God, we're back, like this is cool. And then those mini discs that changed everything and compression, and it was frustrating as a Nintendo fan. And back then, while I played on other systems, I only owned the N6, only N64 and only GameCube. It wasn't until the GameCube generation that I was in college at this point, and I'm like, I have some more money. Let me go get a Dreamcast and PS2 and everything else. But it going to the Wii and the Wii U and even the Switch, the underpowered system, always these gimmicks. There were games that I loved that I just couldn't enjoy, like Star Fox Zero, because the gimmick made me nauseous, and I really didn't like that. I wanted to be able to enjoy, and can't tell you how many Wii games the motion controls really pissed me off. So this is exactly it. This is a bigger, more powerful, Switch, and the Joy Cons hurt my hands because I have bigger hands. So to have bigger Joy Cons, maybe I'll actually use them. But the one cool thing I did notice that people have talked about is the mouse abilities, which I caught in the trailer, where it looks like the wrist strap attachments have little, I guess, mice balls or the lights or however they're going to do it. And now you can use your Joy-Con as a mouse, and that could be really cool for a lot of first-person shooter games like that, but also like some strategy games like Civilization is on the Switch, and the new Civ is coming to the Switch. That could be really handy, and obviously Mario Maker, and they already have a touch screen, so this could be cool. Diablo's on the Switch, and like, all right, let's see how this works. And I don't think this is going to be the be all end all, but if it's a new option for playing, it's a new option for control, it's always good. As long as it's not forced, as long as they're not saying, oh, you have to do a mouse, oh, you don't have a flat surface near you, well, you can't enjoy the game. Let it be an option. And I'm interested to see how it's utilized.
Mario
I know
Paint.
some people were, what, Mario? Well, yeah, get a third Mario Paint game. Let's go. But some people criticize with the magnet, like, oh, those are going to break off. Like, Nintendo's testing these a lot. They go through a lot of quality, you know, assurance and quality testing, and I'm sure there's been plenty of Joy Cons on the Switch 2 that have broken due to testing. We need stronger magnets. We need, better function here. But I'm really interested to see how it works, like in motion. How more powerful is it? What is it going to do for Switch games? I don't need to hear teraflops and this and that. I need to know, A, what games is it going to play? B, how is it going to enhance, if at all, current Switch 1 games? The fact that they showed off at the end of the trailer, it is in fact backwards compatible, both digitally and physical, was great. They did put the little caveat that most games, some people speculate Labo or Ring Fit Adventure or any of the VR stuff they use like Labo VR, and I can see that, but I'm really thankful. I can't. The IR camera is another thing that's missing. So like 1-2 Switch used like an IR camera. So like 1-2 Switch might be playable, but that one particular game or any of the game, like the eating game where it used the IR camera to show like your mouth, that might not be. So
There's actually, like, I was looking at the controllers a little closer, and it looks like there's actually an IR camera in both Joy Cons this time.
oh, maybe there is. Well,
I
this
think
then
there
maybe it will
seems
be
to be
playable.
something at the bottom of the Joy-Con. I assume that it's an IR camera.
I guess we're gonna find out in April. But yeah, that's what I thought. But I'm gonna say 99.9%. And the reason I say it's only gonna be 0.1 or less is the Switch has a lot of games. A lot of games. So it's literally gonna
You
be a
would know.
handful. I would know. So it's gonna be, maybe 10, 15 games tops, I would say. Maybe I'll go to 20. I'll go to 20 games. Like it's not gonna be a lot because a lot of those gimmicks weren't really used anyway. So I'm happy to see this. I know I was talking to a friend of mine who said like gaming is boring now. I loved how like there were all these unique gimmicks and you had the DS and you had the Virtual Boy. Even if they didn't do as well, they were at least unique to gaming and brought something unique. And I said to him, I said that unfortunately, I think gaming is at a point where the next Xbox is going to be a bigger, powerful Xbox, and the next PlayStation is a bigger, powerful PlayStation. The Switch 3 is going to be a bigger, powerful Switch, and it's all going to be backwards compatible. So, like the PS4 onwards and the Xbox One onwards with some older games, because Microsoft's working on older systems, and
Mhm.
for the Switch One onwards is all going to be like the new environment, the new ecosystem, and they're going to keep building on NSO and stuff like that. So, while yes, it's a little more boring, I get it. You don't have those quirky things. Leave it to other companies to do the quirky things. I think it's smart to keep building that environment as long as we keep going in this direction because that way you can reuse that library. Because right now, if you have that, talking about you bought Mario Kart 64, you need an N64 to play it, unfortunately, to hook it up, and play that cartridge. At least going forward, if you were to go to a thrift store or a retro game convention like you did and found a copy of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch, and you didn't have it yet, you could buy it and play it on the Switch too. and still enjoy that game.
Interesting thing that I had just noticed, like we just talked about like 1-2 Switch, and that's actually one of the games on that supercharged sale. So it's like, so here's somebody that like be like, hey, I had never played 1-2 Switch, I'm gonna get it, and then watch like it be that one oddity where like it might not actually work on Switch too. I mean, we don't know yet, obviously, but that could be a potential disappointment for somebody down the road if they utilize, especially like something like the sale or something too. And I think Game Builder Garage was on the list, and that's also on the sale thing too, because
Mhm.
Yep.
there's games you could use the IR camera on that one as well. Um, I did see a few other breakdowns for that. Other people seem to think that the bottom of the Joy Cons is more just like the design element and not actually the little like the glass piece to actually be a camera. But
Hmm.
I mean, we don't know yet, so I mean, this is just pure like what our thoughts are on it. So I don't know if Steve's source is right or maybe mine's right. I don't know, but it's
It's
certainly
not a source. It's me
Or
just
neither
looking
are
it up.
right.
It's true. Maybe it's both.
so
Yeah, I
yeah.
have no idea. And it may not be. It just kind of looked interesting. I was like, oh, that's kind of resembles, but it also kind of looks like a design element too. So I could see it go either way. Especially because they
And you
didn't
know what?
really utilize the IR sensor very much anyway. So if they're not going to
They
use it
did.
anymore, just take it out.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
adds to the cost. And you mentioned those games being on sale. Well, we don't know when in 2025 yet that it's coming, but we know for a fact it's definitely going to be after April 2nd, which is still, 2 months away. So almost 2 months away at this point. So that's still 2 months of playing 1-2 Switch. No one's going to play 1-2 Switch for 2 months. You're going to play it once or
Mhm.
maybe twice, and then that's it. So you're fine. But even if that's the case, even if you bought 1-2 Switch right now, you had no idea, and then you found out you couldn't play it on the Switch 2. Honestly, you can still play it on your Switch 1. So you can still, it's not like you can't enjoy the game. You can still keep a Switch 1. You can still play it on the Switch 1 and enjoy it. And you might have buyer's remorse after playing it anyway.
That's very true. I want to go to the chat real quick and says, Hiawatha says the worst forced controls that he experienced was Godzilla Unleashed on Wii. Godzilla destroyed all monsters melee on GameCube was the best Godzilla game I ever played. I was so looking forward to playing the sequel on Wii, but there were no normal control options. The waggle controls ruined the game. Yeah, so hopefully Nintendo has learned their lesson with a lot of those. We keep seeing like progress, but then we keep seeing things like 1-2 Switch or like the first Mario Party game on on Switch as well that forces you to use it, which I get, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I think some of us would rather play with the normal controller as well.
Exactly.
And then
So to
Jesse's
answer
hoping
Hawada,
just to play Nintendo Land 2 at launch.
to answer you, Hawada, I can one up you. All right, very, very easily actually. And that is the game Sonic Free Riders on Xbox 360 Connect. So if you enjoy the first Sonic Riders and Zero Gravity, the sequel, then try Free Riders. It has zero ability to use a controller. It is all your body, and it is the most unresponsive piece of crap ever. And it is absolute garbage. And I swore when I got that game at launch and played how terrible it was that they were going to add a patch to allow me to play with a 360 controller. Please let me do that. Nope. You still can't. You still need a Connect. And it's not the Xbox One Connect, it's the Xbox 360 Connect.
Mhm.
That game could have been really cool if it wasn't for the fact that it was a Connect game. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm okay with no more gimmicks.
Yeah, I've seen some like complaints that people are kind of disappointed that it's just a more powerful Switch, and they're like, "Well, where's like the cool gimmicks and stuff?" And then it's very weird because like now it's like I feel like people wanted just like a more powerful version, and then that's usually what they say. Like even for like the like whatever like the Wii was like, well, why don't we just have a more powerful Wii? Why you gotta change it and make it like a Wii U and add all this other garbage? Like people, I feel like people just don't know what
People
they
complain.
want. It's like we just
No.
want like more graphics, and then boom, then it comes, and then the time that more graphics is here, now it's like, well, we want a new control scheme and brand new controllers and new name and something unique. And
People
where's
are
all the
always going to
Some
gimmicks?
complain.
I mean, a lot of those people will also probably have like a Steam Deck or another portable PC and go, well, I could play all those games on that. I want Nintendo to do something different. And in that case, then fine. Then don't get a Switch 2 and you will miss out on Nintendo's own offerings. And you can play that PC thing. If you like physical games, you can't do your PC game. If you like, a lot of the indie games, you can't get the same thing on the PC thing. If you like Nintendo games, have fun. You're not getting them on the portable PC. And I think that's where people are like, well, I want something different. And I guarantee you, if it was like a 2DS with a 3DS glued onto a Virtual Boy that you had to stay within 1 millimeter of your outlet or it exploded in your face, they would be like, oh, no, it's too weird. Why couldn't you just do a bigger, more powerful Switch too? That's all I wanted.
So
They're
true.
never happy. They're always going to complain. Like I
Yeah.
say this after every direct. Nintendo can just walk out, like they can literally just have Miyamoto just appear in a direct, say, "We are giving everybody a Switch 2 for free. Everybody in the world. We're giving everybody every single game, physical and digital, for the Switch 1 and 2 as of right now for free, whether it's our game or not. And we're also going to give everybody 3 trillion US dollars for free." And there would still be people that complain. They're never satisfied. So Nintendo's just going to keep doing what they're going to do, and you either happy or you're not, and they're going to keep moving on because honestly, they don't give a crap. They're
That's true. Jesse's like, all we want is stereoscopic 3D.
oh, there we
Yeah.
go. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
there
was
we
used
go.
a lot. You know what's funny about that? You look at like the last 2 years of the 3DS life, maybe three since the Switch launched, like 2017 to 2019 games. And I think all but like one on the bottom says plays only in 2D. Like
Yeah.
they stopped caring at that point. They're like, we're
Yeah.
getting it on the 3DS, but we're not implementing 3D
Yeah, for sure.
in
Just
Nintendo's own.
a couple things that I wanted to point out and kind of get you guys' opinion on. First was the game cartridge slot. It's definitely there, and all we see right now is a current Switch cartridge going in that slot to show in the backward compatibility image that they showed off. Do you guys think that we'll see the exact same size and shape, or will it be like a DS to 3DS sort of thing where there's just a slight difference, and that way it will prevent you from putting Switch 2 games in the Switch? That's what I'm kind of leaning
Exactly
to, but
that.
I don't know what it's going to look like. Is it going to have that little edge at the top like they did on the 3DS, or what? What do you think, Barry?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's going to be that because I think putting in two cartridge slots is a rare thing for consoles. I know the Gamecom did it. I know the Evercade did it, but I think it's a cool idea,
And the
and
DS?
they could do it. Well, yeah, the DS did it when in top and bottom. You're
But
right.
it is rare, though.
Um,
Yeah,
but that was two different systems too. The other ones I mentioned were actually the same systems.
it's true.
But you're right. It could do something like that, but I think more or less it's going to be one because they're probably building off of the same technology because it's proprietary. They own those carts. They manufacture those carts. So Nintendo, like Sony, loves their proprietary. So they're going to take those carts and they're going to say, let's put more memory in them. Like we understand, like the smallest Switch card right now is 2 gig, and the biggest I think is 32. And I think what we're going to see is we're going to see somehow through the technology advancing over the years, we're going to see the cart hold bigger. 64 to 128 gig, I can see it going up to because if it's bigger and more powerful, these games are going to take up more room and still go down to 2 gig and utilize that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these games too, because it's backwards compatible, they may say to devs like, look, you is your game going to take advantage of the Switch 2? If it's not going to fully take advantage of the Switch 2, it's smarter to release it on the Switch. You get the bigger install base and it's still playable on the Switch 2.
Still playable.
And I
Yeah.
think we're going to get a lot of games with on the case it's going to say enhanced by playing on Switch 2. Kind of like we saw like enhanced with Kinect for 360. We saw it with the GBA enhanced playing on the DS. We saw it with the 3DS, the new enhanced playing on a new 3DS. I think we're going to see something like that, where we're going to see a lot of Switch games coming out where it could have been a Switch 2 game, but they're going to opt for Switch 1 with some kind of upscale or enhancement when played on Switch 2 to take advantage of that.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, great. Any thoughts toward that?
Yeah, I feel I feel it almost has to have some sort of differential thing, like whether like somehow the cartridge is like even a little bit thicker or something like, or it's just like the little hinge like the 3DS to the DS cartridge, because otherwise you're gonna have people trying to stick the Switch 2 games in the original Switch, and then that's gonna create even more problems. So
That could be a problem. Yeah.
I would think that they would account for that in some way, shape, or form. So I have no idea how you can either have like a dual purpose like slot, kind of like the 3DS and the DS had used, unless it is going to be a second port all to begin with. But I don't know if that's a route that they'd want to take. I mean, we have to kind of see what the cartridges are going to look like, and that's also assuming that they're going to even try to be using more like Switch 2 cartridges and not just doing like the Microsoft or PS5 thing and be like, oh, all the Switch 2 games are digital only,
It's
but you can
true.
still play your Switch games on the Switch 2. But
Yeah.
No, they're not going to do that because the difference with Microsoft and Sony is who owns the rights. Like Sony, while they own the Blu-ray, they lease that out to other people and they don't make a lot on it. Nintendo makes a lot on those Switch cards because they print them. The smallest card cost $8 and it's a 5,000 print run right now. So for every physical game, Nintendo is getting $40,000 whether they sell or not. They're just getting that money. So anyone that wants to print the Switch game, someone's like, oh, I want to print a million Switch cartridges. You know what? Nintendo's getting, and it's a bigger game. Let's say it's a $10 card. They're getting $10 million for you to print a million copies. And they're just sitting there going, okay, we're going to run our machine. Why would you give that up? That's really easy money at that point. So I don't see them giving that up.
Yeah.
But I do have a quick poll for you guys. I'm curious. How soon post launch or pre launch is there some YouTuber or somebody on Twitter or any social media that gets a copy or gets a Switch 2, are they going to break their original Switch by trying to jam a Switch 2 cartridge into the slot? They're going to break that slot, or they're going to break the Switch 2 cartridge and they're going to use it for clicks. How soon?
I'm gonna say 8 hours.
8 hours. 8 hours from launch or
Within 8
pre-launch?
hours of launch.
Of
Yeah.
launch, okay. You don't think a YouTuber who's going to get an advanced copy of the cartridge is going to try and do it in their
It,
old
it
Switch
might
to
be.
see it for
It
clicks?
might be, but I don't know. What do you think,
You
Greg?
know someone's going to do it, though.
I feel like that's more like a month post launch for
A
I
month.
thought
Wow.
on that.
Month? You think it's going to take a month for someone to try something that stupid? You
Well,
have more faith in humanity than I do.
They're gonna be drop test day one for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen pre-launch. I think there's going to be someone that's going to get an advanced copy that's going to say, "Hey, I'm doing this for science and clicks." And whatever it costs, let's say the game is a $60 game, they're going to make more than $60 on a video, jamming it in there and breaking their Switch and going, "Here's the stress test. Oh, it doesn't actually fit in. So we're getting a hammer, guys. Here we go." And you see it like crack the Switch screen and go, "Here
Yep.
for science." And then that's going to be spread around because the guy's an idiot or the girl's an idiot, whoever does it, and they're going to make money off of it and go, well, I could just buy like 100 cartridges now because of that stupid
That's
video.
true. I want
I
to.
guess my
Oh, go ahead.
my question to you guys would be: do you think the Switch 2 cartridges are gonna taste as bad as the first Switch cartridges?
Yes, 1,000%
I
yes.
still haven't tasted them myself, but
I
What?
didn't either, but I haven't tasted. But kids, they taste that way because of kids.
you
Having
tried
a
it, Greg?
child now I
Yeah,
know.
I was part of the phase. So it was just like the lick it or whatever, just to like to see what it would actually would taste like.
That's awesome.
And it's got the
That's
bitter
You
awesome.
know,
spray stuff on it.
we missed an opportunity to get a video of Greg licking the Switch
We
cartridge
really
at
did.
launch and then playing it in slow motion as a short.
Switch 2. With Switch
Switch
2
two.
launch, we need you to do that,
Greg's
Greg.
licking a
We're going to
cartridge.
release it as a short on YouTube, and it will probably go viral. Let's make it happen.
All right,
No
Steve,
one
it's
else
your
heard
turn.
this, though. This is Greg's only going to do this by himself. Hey,
Steve
real
was also
quick,
gonna want to do it too.
I want to acknowledge what Hiawatha said, it, which is also actually one of the other things I was going to refer to as well. He talks about this little hole at the top near the game cartridge that kind of possibly looks like a microphone. on
Oh,
the
I see
top
that.
of the
Yeah.
Switch, and so people are speculating if the microphone has come back, because there was, you know, a microphone on a lot of the recent handhelds for Nintendo, but the Switch did not have a microphone, which added to the complexities of, you know, game chats and in-game chats and all that stuff too. So do you guys think that's actually a microphone slot up there? What do you think, Greg?
I almost thought there was might be like a headphone jack, but I don't know if that's separate to somewhere else. But I mean, I guess it could technically be a microphone thing, but I don't know. It's
That's
always
definitely
kind of
not a
hard to
headphone
tell.
jack.
Oh
Yeah,
Looking
yeah,
at it
now
headphone
that
right
it's
jack
now.
zoomed in more,
is
but yeah,
elsewhere. Yep. Yeah. What do
No,
you
I
think,
think
Barry?
that
yeah.
could be a microphone. I think it's smart because Nintendo needs like Nintendo Music as an app is fine, but the Nintendo Switch app for voice chat, when things like Discord and a billion other chat devices or calling your friend, you know, using your phone as a phone, exist. I think Nintendo needs to bring in house game chatting back to the platform. I mean, it's weird because the Wii U actually had video calls. Like you could video call another
Right.
Wii U and have that type of communication, like the future. And then they took it away, and every function of that away in the Switch. So I think they realized. I also have a feeling when they because this wasn't designed overnight, right? This is done through R&D. They have got to have asked third parties, what are things you want to see? Is there anything that's missing in the Switch that you would like to see in the Switch 2? They had to have asked that. And I'm sure there's a lot of third parties that do multiplayer games that have said microphone, native communication, because it is a big deal. And all the other platforms have it. So I can't imagine it not being a microphone. And you know, I'd like to see an actual headphone jack. I know that I'm sure Bluetooth will work, but like I have headphones for my Switch, and it's like a little Bluetooth nozzle that has to like go into the dock, and then like that's a pain in the butt. Like, come on,
Yeah.
let me just
Could
do
it
it
be
natively.
both? Because I know
Could it be both?
we have a headphone jack. Could it be one of those that's like a both and kind of thing? Can you plug
Could
one of
be.
those the tip ring sleeve thing or whatever things that's like has both headphones like your iPhone kind of stuff?
Steve, I just thought of something. While it's going through the top in the video, did you
Yeah.
see if there's a second game card slot?
It doesn't look
Because we're
like it. I've looked a
so
lot, but
yeah, like right there, it looks like there's only the one
yeah.
on the very left side of the screen. So
Yep.
I truly believe it's only going to be one slot. Just looking
Yeah.
at this.
Yep. I think so too. What do you guys
Yeah.
think about that extra button on the right Joy-Con? Like, I know people have speculated, there's rumors and things like that, but you know, not you know, taking to all that account, because most of us are trying to stay away from that. What do you think that extra button is on the right Joy-Con? Greg, what do you think?
Turbo.
Turbo.
I mean, I almost thought it was a second share button initially, but then obviously after further examination, it is different than the actual home button or the share button. I guess my main guess off the top of my head might be maybe it's to like maybe turn on like the actual mouse mode or something to
Hmm.
do something with that functionality just to kind of like enable it. Because it's not like in the prime spot where it's like you're could be using it to like make your character jump or fire a weapon or use an item or something. It's one of those things where it's like next to the home button, which is pretty much just used to like exit out of an app. So I would think
Mhm.
if it's not an extra share button, then it would do something where it would turn on like the mouse mode or something, so then you could start like using it or something like that.
Yeah. But a dedicated button for something like that, like it's got to be big, I would assume. Although they incorporated IR sensor and the last one barely used it, but a dedicated button kind of seems like it's got to be something really important. What do you think, Barry?
I'm going to say that it has zero function like this. Like zero function when hooked up to the Switch.
Hmm.
But when you take the two Joy Cons off and you play side, you know, use them as a standalone so you could play with your friend, it's the JP button. What we would call that in 11, where it's pretty much the press to win button because the Japanese would always be better than the Americans. So what you do is you push that and it automatically turns off the other controller. So you're playing with your brother right? And you give them the controller, and you're playing, and they're about to win, and you push that. And, my controller's not working. Oops, I just beat you in Mario Kart. I don't know. And then you push the button back, and it turns on their controller. I don't know what happened, but you don't tell them about it. It's a secret win button.
That's funny. I'm still of the opinion it's so soft. I know people have like speculated that there actually is a C on there at some point. I don't know, but I think it looks like almost like a fingerprint sensor, and I could almost see them like possibly work something in to authorize purchases on the eShop, or maybe it's some sort of touch sensitive thing where you can use it in a couple games that are in handheld mode. I don't know, but I'm tending to think that it's some other. It may be the one of the those things that Nintendo likes to work in every once in a while and kind of make it a little quirky. And so this is kind of their toe in the water. Mostly it's just an updated system, but we're going to add some little quirky things like this extra button on the side. Um, let's see. One of the other things, Greg, you alluded to it as well. The colors of this, I think, just overall, the system looks fantastic. It's so smooth and so like updated. I'm like, it looks like something I want to own. They did a great job designing this thing. And the inverted colors is really cool. But those colors on the inside, while they look cool, I'm curious with the same thing you said too, Gray. Like, what's that going to mean? Like, are all of ours going to look like that on the inside? And so when we buy additional Joy-Cons that have different colors, they're not going to match up anymore? Or how's that going to work? Or can you buy a strictly gray or black one as well, and those are just the same color? Like, how's that going to work? Because it looks cool, but they're going to release more Joy-Con over time, and it'd be different colors and everything. And is that going to be okay to if they're mismatched? That seems interesting. Barry, am I out of line here? Or is that a legitimate concern?
No, I mean, I think when they showed off the original Switch, they just showed off the red and blue, and then there was
True.
just the gray version as well. And I was one of those people that got the gray. I just liked uniformity more than anything else, and the mismatched colors was weird to me. So I think you're gonna see. I think they looked at Joy Cons and said, "This printed money for us. So we're going to keep this up." So I think you're going to get this for the nostalgic blue and red, or blue, light pinkish that the original Switch had. But I think you're also going to get just flat black. I think you're going to get, white. I think you're going to get a lot of different colors, special edition, rainbow, fantastic. Now inside, like there on the Switch, you see there's the blue and the pink. I do think that if this is like a switch to the blue pink bundle, inside will just be blue and pink. And I think if there's a black bundle, they'll just be black on the inside. And then it won't match up. And some people might not like that, but there's nothing really you can do about it. I think when you see them go into a mouse, if you look at the little extensions, that's also blue and pink. So I think they'll sell those just like they did with the regular Joy-Cons of different colors to match up. And again, they'll probably just do black as well. So I think you're going to see a multitude of colors, just like the Joy-Con. But it is weird how they're doing that. I think it looks sleek. I like it. It's subtle. It's more modern. It looks less like a toy. But I also think that you'll probably get full colors as well, because people will complain, "Well, I really love purple. I want all purple." Here's all purple. Here's the Mario edition, all red. Here's the Zelda edition, all green. They're going to do that. They're going to milk the hell out of it just like they did the Joy-Cons because it worked. And
Yeah.
when something works, Nintendo will milk it.
Yeah. Greg, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds just about right. I mean, I would think that they would have the different colors, and obviously, if they are going to make a purple Joy-Con, then yeah, you're going to have the little purple extension thing that goes with it, probably when you buy it. I don't know for sure, like if they'll actually make like a console that actually has like the purple on the inside, though. I mean, you will see that less unless it's in whatever the tabletop mode, or you just kind of remove the Joy-Cons to play on the TV or whatever. But I don't think that's a major form factor there, but I would like to think there would be like a black or gray or white like neutral option, at least at some point within almost like the
Mhm.
first year or so, or if not at launch. But yeah, I do think that it was pretty cool to keep the similar color palette to the red and blue Switch One, and I did like that little callback to use it, even if it looks a little bit more pink this time around. But it's still like I
Mhm.
like
Like
the little
cinnamon.
contrast, the way they did it. But yeah,
They're very modern colors is what they are. These are colors that are popular in 2024 and 2025. In fact, if you go into a store, which I did last year, most like half the shirts in a store are these colors. Like it is very current in terms of colors. Um, but yeah, I'm interested. And one other thing, small little thing. Do you guys know where the micro SD card is on this thing? Because I haven't found it yet. We know it's there because it says it uses them again. But I'm guessing maybe it's under the kickstand again. But I've looked at these things over and over and over again. I'm like, where are they putting this micro SD card?
I just hope it's not behind the battery.
Oh, that was so annoying. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I'm guessing it's probably behind the kickstand. I mean, that was a pretty safe location on other one, but this one is a lot more narrow. So I wonder if it's still going to be a micro SD card again, and if there's still going to be room there as well too. I don't know.
yeah. Well, we will find out more about the Nintendo Switch 2 on April 2nd of 2025. There's going to be a dedicated Nintendo Direct on April 2nd to find out more about it. And in addition, there's going to have a Nintendo Switch 2 experience. So you can go and check out the Nintendo Switch 2 in person. That is, if you get selected. Barry, not a chance, huh? Didn't
I'm
get
gonna have to
in.
try and go for the waiting list, but I did not get selected. I tried. I tried. I had other friends try. I've seen a few people get in. In fact, Beat 'em Ups got into New York for that. I'm like, wait a second, you don't even live in New York. You're in like Texas or whatever. Like, what the hell? But no, I did not get in. I tried, so I'll get in the waiting list and see.
Yeah.
Greg, did you get in? I know you applied.
Well, actually, I didn't end up applying. I was strongly
Hmm.
considering looking at the New York one, but then I didn't end up pulling the trigger on that because I was hoping to try to go with you. And then when you said you were going for pretty much the very first session on the very first day, I was like, well, I don't know if it's still gonna be technically worth it, or if I should still try to go by myself to do it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've at least read a few articles now that it's been like only around like a 10% like exception rate
Hmm.
out of like to be permitted into these things. And I know there's people like Kit and Krista that said they were gonna apply to all of them and see if they get which ones they get into.
You
So,
can't.
um,
You
You
can't.
could just
You
apply
can
to
only
one.
apply to one. And not only that, my wife said, well, I'll apply to a different one because you can add family members as long as they're on your family plan. So, like, you can apply, but you couldn't apply and say, well, I'll take Barry as well. You can only take somebody who is on your family plan. So she tried, and it's like my name was grayed out and said, oh, this person has already applied for a ticket.
Oh, wow.
So they were like really like trying to circumvent multiple tickets out there.
Huh.
wow,
Interesting. Yeah.
I wouldn't think they'd put that much process
Oh,
into
they
it.
did. They did.
Well, I reached out to our Nintendo rep, so here's hoping that we'll be able to get maybe into one of those or something else. That'd be cool to get some press access to something. But if we do, definitely know that we'll be talking about it here on our YouTube channel, but also on the podcast for sure. But yeah, we speaking of the Nintendo Direct though. We were just chatting about this earlier today. We are going to try to do a live reaction to that as well. So if you want to tune in with us on April 2nd, I don't believe they've not acknowledged the time yet, right? It's just
Not yet,
we just know
no.
it's going to be
Yeah,
on April 2nd.
yeah, they said
So as long as it works out,
yeah.
we're going to try to do a live reaction here on our YouTube channel and probably on Twitch as well. Let's see. Hiawatha says he went to the original Switch one and to the Wii U one before that and was able to go because they were both in Washington, D.C. However, just not close enough to New York City to be able to make that trip, so it didn't apply. Same as me. Like, I was nowhere close. Like I was hoping they'd come to Denver, but Dallas was the nearest, and Dallas is not close to Denver. So it was either that or hopping on a plane, and I was like, probably no, it's not gonna happen. And actually, the time frame for that is not wouldn't be good anyway. But yeah, anything else about the system you want to talk about before we jump into some games?
I'm good. I think we talked quite a bit.
We have.
Yeah, I mean that's it's pretty much all I can really cover without more information.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just a short little video.
it is. So yeah, so you're wondering like you're talking about games. What is that all about, Steve? Well, we know one game in particular that was shown off in the trailer itself, and that is Mario Kart. And we don't even know the name of this Mario Kart game at all. We just know that it's a Mario Kart game, and it is a new Mario Kart game. And how do we know that? Because there seems to be new character art. There seems to be new kart art. Kart art. There seems to be potential for 24 racers. At least it looks like in the starting lanes, there's 24 racers, and some people have done some deep analysis of the trailer itself, even though we have only just a few seconds of it. But being able to count where it looks like there's actually 28 or 24 racers on the track as well, and different models. One of those big ones is Donkey Kong. Looks a little different. And so, yeah, we know that this is a new Mario Kart game. We have done our speculation over what it's going to be called in our Discord. Is it going to be a Mario Kart 9? Is it going to be a Mario Kart 10? Is it going to be a Mario Kart X? Are they going to go that direction? Could be. I'm leaning toward X. I feel like they're going to go in that direction. Maybe also kind of treat it as a crossover kind of game. They'll bring even more characters from other Nintendo franchises, maybe. But Greg, what do you think about this Mario Kart game they showed off?
I thought it definitely looked very incredible. It looks really like clean and sleek. Kind of impartial to the DK design. I mean, I understand like why they are trying to make it closer to like the Mario Brothers movie type look, and maybe it is time for DK to get a little bit softer around the edges because it was pretty much Rare's take for the longest time. So, um, I'm pretty much kind of okay to see DK kind of change forms, and I know there's already been a number of like things with the characters that are all shown throughout the small clip, and it's nice to see the base of the bulk of the favorites already there, like Waluigi, Wario, Bowser, and even some. I think like even like Lakitu is already confirmed as well too, in addition to like King Boo, but. Then everyone's absolute favorites, the different babies, which is like Mario, Luigi, Peach, Rosalino. I think we're all like in this video as
Did,
well too.
did you say
But
everybody's favorite? Was that sarcastic?
I
yeah,
think
it
he was
sure was.
sarcastic.
Yeah,
Okay, just making sure.
nobody.
I was like,
Yeah,
did I miss
nobody. Yeah,
something?
yeah, nobody likes the baby characters, and there's already rumors there's probably gonna be further like more baby characters in this one too. Like they could also do Baby DK and like other stuff like that. Is
DK Jr.
you never really
I
know
want to
where
see
that's gonna
DK
go.
Jr. come back.
But
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, they could easily turn this into like a Mario Kart Smash Brothers game, and you can pretty much see like they could do like everybody's here, and then pretty much everybody from like tour that not just like a special costume, in addition to like all the previous Mario Kart games is there, like, including DK Jr. And so, I mean, they could easily do something like that, or maybe they're just gonna be take Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's roster and then just even add some more onto that on top of that as well too. So, I mean, you don't really know which way they're going to go until it's more formally revealed.
It's true. Barry, what do you think about this Mario Kart? I'm going to call it X for now.
I think it looks great. I mean, it's about time. I think everyone agrees it's about time. But like Greg,
It's been 10
I'm.
years.
It has been.
Yeah.
I think, like I was talking about earlier, how we're kind of in this stage of the games or the industry where everything's being incrementive add-on, where the Switch 3 is going to be backwards compatible and the NSO is going to keep going on. I think we really need to get that way with Mario Kart and like Smash and other things, where I think what they need to do is literally start with. I know it's a new engine. I know it's new graphics. I know it's going to take time. Mario Kart is a huge moneymaker. It's worth it, even if it's not all at the launch. But they need to end up where you have the entire Mario Kart 8 roster. You have all the characters that have ever appeared in Mario Kart. You have all the characters from Tour. There's a ton of characters in Tour, in addition to just like different costumes. But there's also like Hammock, who was supposed to be in Mario Kart 64, finally got in there, but only in Tour. Dixie Kong is in Tour. Like there's a bunch of characters that are there. King Babam is there, King Boo is there, both regular King Boo and Luigi's Mansion King Boo are there. Like there's a ton of Mario characters that they could add from Tour that should be there. They take all the tracks, and I think 24 man, like that's their big thing, like 24 carts now. Leave that to F-Zero. Like that's cool. Make an option for 8 or 24. Fine. Like that's fine. Obviously 24 you need to expand the tracks. So all the tracks that come back are going to expand. So I'm wondering if it's going to be like, I don't know if you remember when Smash 4 came out, or Wii U
Mhm.
version, where
Yeah.
only some of the stages had up to 8 players, and all the rest of them were still only 4. And then eventually they upgraded, obviously, with Smash
Mhm.
Ultimate, where all stages can now be played with 8. I think we might get that at the launch, where these ones are only for 8, these ones are up to 24, and then slowly through updates they'll be like, this one is now
Mm.
these 4 courses are now up to 24. I think iteration is the way to go. I
Yeah.
think we just got to keep adding to it. Taking away at this point, like Greg mentioned, all the staples. Well, obviously, like Mario's going to be there, and Donkey Kong's going to be there, and Bowser and stuff like that. It would be pretty blasphemous if they weren't. But I think we just need to keep adding to it. And then the complaints with the babies are, oh, they take up roster spots. But if everyone comes back, and all these new characters and especially crossover, they're no longer taking up spots. They're just additional characters that you are not forced to play with.
Yeah.
So I think we really need to go that route. And what I really want to see them do, and I could be completely in the minority here, and I think I'm only in the minority because a lot of people never touch Tour, but I want to see the 2-point system come in. I want to see there be a points mode, because that changes the game so much. Anyone can get first place. I don't care who you are. Anyone can get first place. But getting better scores, I mean, high scores in a video game have been there since the arcade days.
Yeah.
Let's bring that back and have it as an option, an optional mode. Keep your
Mhm.
high score. Do the tournaments. I want to see weekly tournaments like there is
Mm.
in Mario Kart Tour, with where you're put in groups of 20 and see how you do, and you get ranked up and you get bonus items and points. And
Yeah.
I think that's a great way, because honestly, I wouldn't play Mario Kart Tour as much without that. And I think a lot of
Mm.
people still do because of that, because there's a competition, there's that fun. But if it's just try and get first place, well, everyone can get first place in every track if you have a week to play it. That's not a hard thing to against a CPU, but having that point system, and I want to see the item system there too. Not only the
Mm.
new items that were added in Tour, I want to see all items come back. Make it like Smash Brothers, where you could turn on and off different items, so you could have it as crazy or as calm as possible. But bring up to 3 item boxes at Mario Kart, and have an
Mm.
option: 1 item box, 2 item box, or 3 item box. Where every time you get an item box, you get 3 items. Because in Tour, when you get 3 of the same items, you get frenzies, and frenzies change the game. Suddenly you have unlimited mushrooms for a short bit. Suddenly you're a giant bullet bill shooting bullet bills at other people because you're in last place, and it lets you catch up. Suddenly you're hitting everybody with lightning considerably over 20-second period of time, and everyone's screaming at you while you race past them. Have fun with it. Like,
Yeah.
Mario Kart is a party game. Make it as crazy as possible, but the option there to make it as vanilla as possible too. Just like Smash Brothers, some people like to play with all Pokeballs and assist trophies on, and high frequency, so it's chaotic fun. And some people like Final Destination, no items.
Right.
So let people play the game as they want to play.
That'd be fun. Yeah. I think like I've loved the elements of new elements that they brought into Mario Kart Tour. I just think the control is horrible in that game, and so I don't play it. But what they do in that game is so much fun, and so to bring it in as additional modes and additional elements that you can customize and all that stuff, that sounds fantastic, and it just adds to the game. So Yeah, sounds great to me.
Yeah, and I would also really like to see all the track varieties come off a tour as well too, because that was the other thing
Yeah.
I really liked. Like they had like the more like, oh, this one's kind of like above the track, and like all these little platforms that were like above it and stuff to like
Yeah,
add extra shortcuts and whatever. And
Tour
so
had
like,
4 versions of every track. It was the standard, the reverse, the trick version, which had a bunch of new platforms and stuff, and then trick reverse. And that those 4 versions played very, very different, and it was the same track. So if they do that with every course and put 4, there's already 2 in every Mario Kart, right? There's regular and mirror, which is reverse. But if they add that trick course and then the reverse trick course,
Yeah.
it changes the game significantly.
Where they could have, like you said earlier, like a wider version for 24 racers or a smaller one for 8 racers. They could
Yeah.
even, it ebbs and
I
flows
I
depending on how many
I think
players are
they
playing.
have to let that. I think they have to still have 8-player mode there. I think if they force it, oh, it's all 24, people are gonna be like, "I'll just play 8 Deluxe," because it's too new, and some people like to just play that condensed 8. So I think they
Yeah.
have to have that option. Just like Smash Brothers. They never said, "Well, guess what? Now every battle is gonna be 8 people." You can still have 4-player battles. You could have less than that even, but 8-player is up to 8 is still an option.
Yeah.
Make it up to 24, don't force it to be 24.
Or is it
I
Mario
mean,
Kart
even Mario
8
Kart 8 just
or
had 12 slots though, and just
yeah.
8. Like
12.
Mario,
Yeah,
and
so 12.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Wii and 8 Deluxe both had 12. Like that was where that's expanded out there. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but make it so you could pick however many you want. I think that's the more options you give to the gamers, the more evergreen and blue ocean the game becomes. The more restrictive you make the game, the less people that are going to be interested. Especially, we have to consider this Mario Kart 9, 10, whatever you want to call it, X, it still has to compete with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe
That's
because Mario
true.
Kart 8 Deluxe with the booster course, all those courses is still playable on the Switch too, and it has to be an incentive enough for someone to say, "Oh, why should I buy this when I could already play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with the booster course?"
If the new one incorporates online play with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then you just like somehow just make it Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but Deluxe more,
Yeah, I
that'd be
don't know.
great.
Or maybe, just maybe, that they make like a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is one of those games that's not compatible on Switch 2.
Oh, that
That
would
would be
be
horrible.
terrible. That would be absolutely
Yeah,
terrible.
that would be. Hey, let's jump on because we've went pretty long on this or the Switch 2 already. I just want to acknowledge, for the most part, like we don't know anything else from what we've been talking about so far, but there have been a couple other confirmed games that people have been talking about. Nintendo Life has this list over on their site. The game we do know for sure is Mario Kart. We don't know what version it is, but Mario Kart, and then as well Arascope, uh, Bestiario, Little Lands, and My Time at Evershine apparently have been talked about by their developers as well. We also got information that Yuka Replayly is also coming to Switch as well. It seems like some other indie devs have mentioned games like Lucid and Synth Beasts are also coming to Switch too as well. And then there's a couple others that we are assuming, like probably going to be another Mario Kart or Mario 3D game coming out. There's probably we're going to see Metroid Prime 4, most likely on the Switch 2 as well. Probably going to see the next Pokemon that's going to eventually going to come on Switch 2 as well. Of the games that we know so far, is there anything that you're really excited about playing there, Greg? Is anything that kind of jump out to you at all beyond Mario Kart?
I don't think so yet, but I also haven't really dove deep into like all the announcements and followed each of these games. Like I didn't really play the original ukulele, so I mean that one probably could be an easy one that goes up there. I mean, I understand it's on Banjo Kazooie, like a spiritual successor to that one, but I've still yet to play that original N64 game. So
And it's going to have Shovel
that
Knight.
one,
They just announced that today too.
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
did catch the Shovel Knight thing, and I do like Shovel Knight, but That's what I was saying, that might be one of the main ones, but I also don't know if that's going to be an immediate launch game or launch window game even at this point. It could just be like, hey, it's coming, but then it's like 2028, like, oh, here's our game. So it's like it's sometimes it's kind of hard to gauge until we actually see what's available during that launch frame. But all these could easily make the launch frame, but some of them may not. I mean, we don't really know for sure. Could just be like,
Yeah.
oh, we just started development yesterday. We got our kit, and then look forward in whatever, like I said, 2028 or so.
Right. Right. Barry, anything stand out to you that you've seen so far?
Yeah, the main one is Yuka Replay. It's I never got to play Ukulele. I got it, but I heard it wasn't the greatest at launch, so I kind of steered clear, which sucks because I love Banjo-Kazooie. And I played Impossible Lair, and I had a lot of fun with that. And I was set to go and play it for a podcast, but then they announced this, and I was like, well, this is gonna fix a lot of those complaints. This will be the version I play for the first time. So.
Yeah.
That's probably of the ones thus far I'm the most excited for.
Yeah. Anything that you're hoping for, Greg? Like, as you think now you've seen this system, anything come to mind? You're like, oh, I can't wait until we can get this on Switch 2.
Well, I know it's very much a huge pipe dream. It would be awesome if it was like Grand Theft Auto 6 or something like that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I would really be really happy to see something like that actually go to the Nintendo platform this time around. But um, yeah, I
Well,
don't.
the PlayStation trilogy is on there. PlayStation 2 trilogy is on the Switch.
Yep. I already have that one on Switch as well, so that's what I'm hoping to see, that they get the pretty much the most anticipated game in quite a long time here that be
4 and
dropping.
5 should be easy to get on the Switch. To a Switch 2.
It's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Barry, anything that you're really hoping that comes over?
Xenoblade Chronicles 4.
That makes sense.
I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, the Switch gets the majority of the games that I enjoy. Whether I play the Switch version or I play the PlayStation version, it is besides the point. Switch still gets it. So, I mean, there's not many games announced for other systems that aren't coming to the Switch that I'm like, oh man, this totally should be on Switch. Like most of, I'd say any of the missing Square Enix games. I'd like to see the 13 trilogy get re-released. I'd like to see them get 14 on there. I think that would be really cool to have an MMO portable in that way. But 15 and 16 get that not non-pocket edition 15, but get them on the Switch. Uh, that's really what it is. But again, those are older games. In terms of newer games, Expedition 33 would be cool. See that go to Switch too. I'm trying to think. Elden Ring would be kind of cool to see
Hmm.
that hit the Switch too.
Interesting. Yeah. The new Mana game.
Metaphor, the new Visions of Mana,
Yeah.
Metaphor, Refantasio. A lot of great games. And honestly, with Sony putting stuff like obviously MLB the Show, but putting more stuff, I'd love to see Astrobot hit the Switch too. I think that would, even though it's celebrating PlayStation, I think it's a perfect fit for the Switch.
True. Well, at the very least, it's going to influence the next Mario game for sure.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Hiawatha in the chat says, hope we get Gears of War series on Switch. And only had Nintendo consoles, but always wanted to play the Gears series. That'd be
Microsoft's
interesting.
very chummy right now. They've been
Yep.
talking.
And also
Yeah,
wanted
I
to
think
play
even
the Dragon Quest X MMO as well.
There's
yeah,
there's doing an offline version of that, but it's not coming out to America, which sucks.
Hmm.
I was gonna say, I believe even on like the Switch 2 Wikipedia page, it even like suggests like the Master Chief collection and like other like pipe dream stuff. It's like because of
Rare
Microsoft playing it all
replay.
nice.
Bring Rare replay over.
It'd be interesting. Well, let's change our direction just a little bit to the current stuff and the things that we know are coming out. Nintendo actually released a page on their news site that just highlights some games that are coming out in February. And February is like just a couple days away. Here we are recording this on January 28th of 2025. But Sid Meier's Civilization 7 is coming out on February 11th. We got Urban Myth Dissolution Center on February 12th. Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip on February 13th. And the next Tomb Raider collection of 4 through 6 remastered is coming out on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Afterlove EP is also on February 14th. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Metacritic site as well and kind of scroll those. So if you're watching the video version, you'll see those pop up on the screen as well. But any of those games or others that are coming out soon that you guys are excited about, or what else will you be playing over the next couple weeks? Greg, how about you?
I'm probably pretty much just gonna be tackling more of the backlog. Pretty much I've never really played too much those games from those, at least like the Civilization series and like some of the other ones that have like established franchises. I've never really played the previous version, so I don't think I'll be jumping into the latest version without seeing if it's like the right one for me. So I believe it's just me more tackling more of our game chat games, along with trying to hope to jump into continuing some of the other games that I've been trying to enjoy, like Plucky Squire and some of the other, like even the Echoes of Wisdom I still need to get back into, and other ones like that that I really hope to be able to pick up soon.
Nice. Barry, how about you?
Yeah, mainly for me, I'll be working more on 8-Bit Adventures 2, which is a game chat game or review game that I'm working on now. In addition, Trail Through Daybreak 2 is coming out on Valentine's Day. So that is one of my most anticipated games of the year. And they just announced today, NIS America, at least tonight, that there's a demo up with the progress carrying over. So that has me very excited because we're 2 weeks away from that game coming out. So I get to start early with that demo. I'm super excited for that game. Probably do a little more Dragon Ball. Maybe mess around with some of these other games I got at a discount. I still have Zhuangyan Sword to get to, so nothing new outside of Chelsea Daybreak 2, thankfully. So I have a little bit
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah. Is the Wizardry, the Five Ordeals, is that a new game or is it another remake of like the old Wizardry games?
That's an
Do you
older
guys
one, I
know?
believe.
The old one? Okay. So I guess it originally released, in 2021, I guess. And maybe it's just being ported over. I'm not sure.
Wizardry 5, you said?
The Five Ordeals. Yeah.
Let me
So
see.
I'm not sure. If you haven't checked out our Wizardry game chat, you should. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna be working
Oh,
on this backlog for sure. What'd you find out?
it is apparently, it was originally released in June 8th, 2006.
Okay. So I guess this,
So
like, Metacritic had 2021 listed, so I'm wondering if there was like a original remake or something like that happened
according to
on.
Nintendo's page themselves, classic hardcore gameplay experience a deep dungeon crawling RPG. This game was created by the main staff that worked in the popular RPG series back in 2006. This game players can experience many different dungeon crawling RPGs using the same base system, available enhancements to UI and much more. Official scenarios seen for the first time with each with dozens of hours of gameplay. This is put out not by Digital Eclipse like the last
Okay.
one, and apparently it has DLC. There's
Hmm.
DLC already for it. There's two different scenarios you could buy. $24.99 for one of them and $14.99 for the other. The base game is $39.99.
Okay.
Apparently the triple pack is $71.90 and it gets you all. So the 5 ordeals is one of the scenarios. So
Hmm.
you can get them all in this triple pack.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because I think on the Metacritic site it also lists like as a PC version, and that's the one from 2021. So I wonder if that's where they built out like
Yeah,
the DLC and stuff, and then it's just like a
And this is all
almost
being
like a
ported
port of
over.
that with like a port of that, and maybe it has like one of the DLCs that Barry said, or maybe it's even both for all we know. But
That makes sense.
yeah.
Cool. Well, that brings us to the end of our game discussion for this episode. Our next episode is going to be releasing and recording on February 11th of 2025. So just in a couple weeks from today. Before we wrap up, Barry, you got some news to share? Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
it's been a it's been a busy couple just in general busy. But the biggest news in terms of what people will probably give a crap about is I announced this on social media last week. But this is actually my last week at Premium Edition Games. I am leaving the company that I helped found, uh, which is sad. I'm still working on stuff for them. I actually had multiple meetings yesterday with developers, trying to get one last thing before I go, one last hurrah. It's been a wonderful time there. The wonderful people, great experience. Meeting and talking to so many developers and working with them has been invaluable. But I'm not leaving the gaming industry. I'm going to be announcing where I'm going on my social media on the 1st of February. So follow me there for that news, and I'll definitely talk about it next podcast. But as of right now, I am still technically with Premium for the rest of this week, and go to premiumeditiongames.com, support those guys. Those guys are working hard. There's a ton of great games in stock, and we have Enerchard, Lonesome Village, and Super Dungeon Maker are being assembled as we speak at our assembly plant, so they should be shipping out very, very soon, which has me very, very excited. Waiting a long time for those, and I know that they're going to be going slower this year, and they're focusing on getting out, all the Series 8, 9, and 10 stuff, PlayStation stuff. That is their primary focus. So look forward to a new direct. I think the plan is the fall, and I look forward to that so much. So because one, I don't have to write it. Two, it's new blood, so I'm look forward to what they do with it and how they do it and how I had my style. Well, let's see what their style is, and I get to watch as a fan, and just instead of it's different watching people enjoy something you create versus watching something that you're just excited about. Kind of like how Kit and Krista posted, like this is like the first Nintendo Direct we were watching, but we're not part of
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo when it happened. It's going to be the same thing for me, so I look forward to it. But yeah, definitely give them some love. They're a great group of people, and mad love to Phil, who is taking over my role at Developer Outreach. What a wonderful guy, and he's been a real trooper through this whole thing, and I've been helping and working with him, and yeah, I wish them the best of luck. I absolutely want to see Premium keep going, and I have more to talk about in terms of career path next time. Personal life is different though.
Personal
Personal
life is
life is
different.
big too.
Yeah.
Personal life is big. So one starting next week, I have a son in school. He's going to to like a daycare
Wow.
that's an educational daycare. So I actually have to like take him in, and he's gonna start learning, and before I know it, he's gonna be, you know, just running circles around me. Because he's at
That's
that
cool.
age where he just needs that human interaction,
Mm.
the kids, let push that we can't give him. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited for that. We went
Cool.
and toured the place today, and it's just a wonderful program and not cheap. Kids are never cheap, apparently, but can't put a price in education. That's what I keep telling myself. Can't put a price in education. But I'm happy about that. And then I have to go in 2 days. I go to the eye doctor, which I haven't been to in a while, because I'm starting to get old man eyes, where little tiny fine print is starting to get harder to read, and it's like,
Mm.
oh, so here I am in my 40s, and now I'm gonna need reading glasses. And like, hold on, let me put these on here. And I think a lot of it happened. I was doing a lot of work on the computer where like I like hours upon hours of concentrated stares, and like my eyes got tired, and I'm like, oh, did I like screw something up?
Mm.
So I'm probably gonna go, and they're gonna be like, oh, your 20/20 vision that you've had all your life is now a little bit less because you're older now. And guess what? That happens to most people. Here's
Yeah.
your reading glasses. Have fun with that. And I'll be like, hold on, you know.
Good thing the Switch
So
2 is
that's
bigger.
yeah, it is. But that's the joys of getting older, kids. It happens. Eventually, I'm gonna get that option where it's gonna be like, "Are you ready for cataract surgery?" I'm like, "Yes, do it, do it, do it. Give it to me."
Nice. Well, I hope everything goes well. I'm still excited for your son to take over for me someday.
Oh, he will. Are you kidding me? He's already talking back and smart assing himself. The biggest thing I worry about, and I hear this from all these parents, and I'm sure Greg can absolutely attest to this, is we've been knock on wood very lucky. He's 19 months and he's never been sick. We've kept it
Wow.
germ free in the house. We've done really well. We just go after work, we go to the store, we still bring him to the mall and stuff like that, but we just we've kept him healthy. He eats good food, he gets good sleep, we've kept him healthy, he gets vitamins,
And now
he's
you're
gone to the
putting him in
doctor, he's got all his
school.
shots, and now he's going in school, and from what I hear from everybody is get ready to get sick. And we haven't been sick either. So like my wife and I haven't been sick, or if we got anything, it's just like a little bit of a head cold. We take some medicine, we're good. But now suddenly it's going to be like, oh great, and the class he's going to was closed today. Like you can't tour it today because two kids had influenza. So we had everybody is home of that class. The other classes were on, and they were legit deep cleaning, like on their hands and knees, cleaning it with bleach and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm actually glad to see this. That you're not
Yeah.
just telling parents, oh, we're cleaning it. Like you're legit cleaning it. And I like to see that because I'm sure that's going to happen. But I'm not looking forward to him coming home and bringing home the sniffles and getting sick and then having to
No.
deal with the sick kid. And then he just throws up and I just scream. And I'm like, I don't know what to do here.
That's
And I'm
great.
sure Greg's like, oh man, I've been through that already.
Yep. Don't miss those days. They bring home like your favorite illness, and then you catch it, and then it's like, well, how am I supposed to take care of a kid that's sick, and then now I'm sick, and
I already told my wife, I said, I'm just letting you know now, like the first few times or first 10 times or first 100 times that he gets sick, you're telling your boss that you're working from home because I have no idea what to do with that.
Oh, that's fantastic. Greg, anything exciting going on in your world?
yeah, I mean, there's been lots of excitement here. My daughter's birthday is actually just in a few days here, and then on Thursday actually, and then my wife's birthday is the following week on the
Oh,
4th. So,
Happy
just
early
been doing
birthday to
some.
both of
yeah.
Yep, we've been doing some like birthday celebrations with family. We went, my daughter, we went to this like a slime exhibit in downtown Chicago, and it was really thing that she really loves playing with the slime. So then it was like a experience thing. They had all these different kinds you get to play with, like with your hands. And they even had areas where you could like actually walk on it. And they wanted you to like take off your shoes and socks and stuff and walk on it. And then we even signed up for like the slime shower where they put like a poncho on you and then just like pour the slime down through like these like the tubing things, and it was a
Like
lot
on
to take
Nickelodeon.
in there. Yep.
That's fun.
And they hazmat you down afterwards and like to make sure you're all cleaned off and all that fun stuff too. And but yeah, then at least my wife wanted to go see like the Joseph and Technicolor Dreamcoats, I guess, is coming back briefly here in Chicagoland, and she wanted to go see it again. So we're looking to do that in like March or whatever. So it's just been getting all birthday stuff, birthday gatherings, birthday parties, birthday events, and all stuff over the last few days, and also probably in the incoming week plus. So
Fun. Fun. Cool. Well, like we said, next episode is going to be on February 11th. We hope to have you there live. You can join us on YouTube or on Twitch. Again, that streams on February 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. And of course, we have you on all podcast apps out there if you want to listen to the video version, or if you want to check the audio, or sorry, the video, you listen to the audio version. If you want to watch the video version, head over to our YouTube channel, where you can also subscribe and find a whole bunch of other videos. Like we've talked about at the beginning of this episode, we've got several game chats going to be coming out over the next several days. And so we're going to be pumping out some more content on some games that were released recently, some games that were released a few months ago, but trying to work through some of the games we've been playing and get some reviews out for you guys. So make sure you subscribe and share this with others who enjoy Nintendo as well. Greg, Barry, always awesome talking video games with you guys. And for everybody out there, thanks for tuning in and happy gaming.
Have a good one.
see you next time.